Start with your name.
My name is Greg Remington.
Hi, my name is Junie, and we're with the Children's Coalition, and we're here to ask you some questions about your time in service.
Go right ahead.
Which war did you serve in?
I didn't serve in any war. It was all peacetime.
Oh, okay. Were you drafted or did you enlist?
I enlisted
Enlisted. Why did you choose to join?
because I thought it was a good thing to do for my country and also be a career. And I mean for a while, and then see how things went.
Did it work out how you wanted it to?
I got some good experiences and saw a lot of places.
Where were you living at the time before you got drafted?
I was living with my mother.
Where exactly did you go?
I went to many places for, let's see, my AIT, or my basic, I went to Fort Knox, Kentucky. And then I went to, let's see, AIT, I went to Fort Benjamin Harrison. And then I went to various places. Let's see. I went to Schofield Barracks, Hawaii. I went to, let's see, I went to Korea. Korea was a nice place. I loved being in Korea. The atmosphere and the people. It was a different culture.
What was the time frame?
What was the time frame?
Time frame was, what do you mean by time frame?
The years that you were serving.
Oh, I went from 1978 to 86.
What part of the branch did you join from?
I was in the Army.
Okay. Do you remember for your training?
At Fort Knox, Kentucky. Yes, we did various things. We'd get up early and we'd clean up the barracks. Oh, I remember this one time. It was so funny. The drill sergeant comes, and we all knew this one drill sergeant's car, and he'd come rumbling down the road, and we'd say, "Oh, here he comes," and we'd all get ready, and we'd all stand by our bunks, and then he'd come in, and he'd give us or call us to attention, and he'd look around, and then all of a sudden he'd be throwing cans this way and that way, and then in the restrooms, and and then he'd file us out, and then he'd say, "Oh, stay there until I come back," and then he'd go in and you'd hear crash and bang and boom and more cans going back and forth. And then he'd say, "All right, go back into the barracks and clean this up." And we'd go back and we'd see wall lockers open, wall lockers just knocked over, and beds knocked over. We had bunk beds, all right, in basic training. And bunk beds would be full. Most of the bunk beds would fall over, and the mattresses would be off the bunk beds, and cans be all over the floor. And then we go in the bathroom, and scouring powder cans would be all over the floor. And then we'd have to clean it all up and make our beds back again, and then go back outside. And then he'd say, "These shoes aren't shined good enough." And so we'd we had these ammo cans for shoes, for our shoe polish, and then we'd have to polish our shoes again, and then before we went to our morning chow, we had to go to the monkey bars, and you know, the ones that you climb across, and if we couldn't get it right, we'd have to go back in the line and do it all over again. And by the time I got tired of that, it was time to go eat. And then I had an experience with a colonel one time after being out of the mess hall. I'd be sitting on the steps in the back of the mess hall, and this colonel comes walking up, and I got to attention right away, and I knew how to salute, so I saluted him, and he just saluted back and walked on by. And then there was the regular training about firing your weapon, and then going to the grenade launcher place, and then we had fun trying to. We'd go out in the field, and one time, and we'd hide, and then there'd be a person trying to find us, or look for us, and then it'd be like sneaking up on them, and then see how many people could get caught, and then we had our turn, and we could see what people we could catch, and he'd say, "All right, how many people do you see out there? Or does anybody see any people out there?" And he'd say, "If you can see anybody, step backwards." Well, I kept on trying to find them, and it was just about training. So let's see. Anything else? Any other questions? About
When you first arrived, did you think it was gonna be like that?
about what?
Your training.
When I first arrived, the sergeant, he called us out of the bus, and then he got us. This was in This was in Fort Knox, and he called us out of the bus, and he said, "All right, you ladies, let's go. I don't need you slackers on the bus anymore. Let's move it." So we'd go inside like a gym, and then we sit down, and he said, "Okay, you ladies, your mommies and your daddies are not here. I am your mommy and your daddy for now." And then we'd listen to what he had to say. And then later on, we'd get our haircuts, and then But I never thought it would be like that. No, I thought it was, thought it'd be like what you see in the movies. But it was an experience. I'm just telling you. So, what else you want to know?
Was it harder than what you expected?
At first it was, but then once I got used to it, it wasn't.
How did you feel after training and first serving, when your training was done?
I felt that now I can get back to, or I can get to my job and my training for my job, and which I went to Fort Benjamin Harrison for, and I was training for financial school.
Did you ever think that you were going to get drafted into a war?
No, because the time period that I was in, they didn't have any war back then that I knew of.
How did you keep touching with your family?
Through letters, and I didn't have communications by phone at all with them, just by letters.
What was the food like?
Food was good. Depends on where I was. I mean, basic training, it was like served it on a tray and whatever they could get you and get to you, and then but after basic training it got better. Got to go off post and eat, or the food in the chow line got much better where I went.
Did you feel pressure or stress
Through what?
throughout the people or any way that they made you feel bad about yourself?
No. After basic training and AIT, I didn't feel like that because I was in my job and I just felt like I was doing a job and serving my country, and that's it. I felt comfortable,
At one time, did you ever keep a personal diary to write down,
No.
jot down memories?
No, because if I had, I would have had it with me right now, so I could give you all kinds of experiences. I'm 50 years old, and a lot has happened in my years.
Was there ever any bad moments that you had in the war?
I was never in war. I was just, I can't remember. I'd have to think back. Let's see. There, not that I can remember. No.
How much do you think serving changed your life? How different do you think your life would have been if you never volunteered to go into the Army?
It would have been a lot drastic than when I went in, or before I went in. If I hadn't went in, I don't know what I would have been. I probably would have been in jail or serving serving time or something. I wasn't a bad person, mind you, but I fell in the wrong crowd when I was in civilian life before the Army, and it changed my life to the better, so that I can be a better person in life.
Did your military experience influence your thinking about war or about the military in general?
Not really. My military experiences was just of doing my job and serving my country and having good times when I'm off duty, like Korea and Hawaii. I had many experiences in Korea, going places, meeting new people, doing interesting stuff. Like one time in Korea we had a carnival at one of the bases, and I had to be like a runner for these coupons, and they were like different colors of coupons, and I had to go back and forth to try to get certain coupons to certain people, and other times I just go and play pool or meet the people. Um, it was Korean life is fascinating. Oh my God, they worship different things. The ladies, I experienced one time. The ladies would walk on the outside of the street instead of the inside, and I tried to go on the outside. Like men are supposed to be on the outside, on the traffic side, like here, you know, and protect a lady. While in Korea, you're not supposed to do that because they value their men more than they value themselves. And so I tried to be on the outside, on the roadside for a lady one time. And she told me to go on the inside. I said, no, that couldn't be. I'm a man. I'm trying to protect you. And she said, that's not how it works here. I said, oh, really? Okay. And so we walked along the road with her being on the outside.
How long were you in Korea?
I was in Korea for 2 years.
So you learned how to speak Korean?
A little bit. Like, 안녕하세요.
What does that mean?
That means, how are you?
Okay. Do you think you would ever go back now?
No.
No?
I like living back in the States. It was a adventure back there, but I never went to actually live there because their place. Some of their towns are just so poor. I mean, poor. They have housing there, yes, but the conditions there are poor for the lower class people. I mean, the higher class people, they live in their buildings and, you know, have the good running water and stuff. And like going out to the club one time. Okay, I go out and we'd have to walk to the clubs.
What?
Yeah, walk to the clubs. Now the off-post clubs, it would be right across the street. But the other bigger clubs, you had to go either on a taxi and pay whatever it costs, and you had to know how to exchange money there, and it was a hassle sometimes, and I had to have a Korean person with me to haggle about the price of things, and sometimes, like this one time, I remembered going to this one club. And you know how you buy your friends drinks? Or you buy people across the table drinks? Well, in Korea, if you buy them a drink, they buy your drink. But it's like they have to buy the drinks for you, you know. I mean, it's like their custom, you know. But it's neat. And I got to experience that. How
did you feel when you arrived back home?
I felt pretty good. I got to meet my mom. My mom. Well, see, I got to go when I went to different places. Certain places, I could come back home, and see my mom, and then go off to the next place. But when I came back home finally, the final time, I felt that, well, even though I'm going to be going in the reserves for a year, I felt like I was back home, and I could get back to normal life. But it was neat.
What did you go on to do as a career after the war, and how was your life?
Well, mind you, I wasn't in the war. I was in the service, but I went to construction when I got back, and I've been in construction, or I used to be in construction for years. I I did I did acoustical ceilings, what's above you, and other times I would do various other things. Like I went to a warehouse job, and just other things, that I like to do. Um, can we stop for a minute? Please?
Anything you would like to add that we have not covered in the interview?
Like, for what?
Certain facts you want us to know, or maybe people that you met, maybe how you keep in contact with people. Anything from your time in service that you would like to add?
I don't keep in touch with any of the people that I met in the service, because they're in different bases, in different countries, in different states, and if I ever do see any of the people that I used to meet, I'd welcome them with open arms. I'd speak to them. I'd say, "Hey, what's going on with you?" I'd want to know how their life is doing.
All right. Thank you for answering our questions today, and for sharing your personal information and how it was like for you during your time of service.
Thank you very much too.
Did you live with family, friends, or coworkers?
When I was in,
In what ways did the war change your activities or habits?
I was being they wanted us to do what they wanted us to do, and teaching us how to be their way, and how, so that we can fight in a war when it comes time.
Were you or others in your community treated differently because of your gender, ethnicity, race, or other factors? If so, how did you or others react?
We weren't treated any differently. I was treated like everybody else, and I mean the peers maybe, because different people have different ideas and different ways, and we're not all the same, of course. But we weren't treated any differently.
What were some of the first changes in your life after the war started?
I was getting up early. I was being with people, so that I was like, where am I? What am I doing here? Why did I come here? at first, and I'm meeting all these new people, and they're interacting with me and stuff, and I'm like, how can I get along with these people so we can do what we need to do every day and coexist? But I felt like I was a stranger for a few weeks until we got together and got doing things together.
What different responsibilities did you have to take on?
Oh, I had many. When depends on where I was. When I was in training, I just had my only responsibility for myself and getting up and getting fed and getting back to the line and back to the barracks and cleaning up the barracks, helping cleaning up the barracks and stuff. But when I was doing my work, I had different jobs, like making sure things were. Well, I wasn't a supervisor. I was just part of the team, but I would do extra stuff so that I'd make myself shine. I'd file a few folders, or I was in finance, by the way, and I'd file a few folders more, or pick up things, or just help out where needed.
What social activities were you involved in at work or after work with coworkers?
Going to the club. A lot of places I'd go play pool. We'd swim. Just activities. I sometimes I'd go out and just walk around and see things. I'd go downtown various times. Like in Hawaii, I'd go downtown. I go way downtown to like Waikiki and see the sights and clubs and the bars. And I'd even rent a hotel room. A hotel room for myself. And then I'd go out clubbing. But other times I'd go just see the sights. And other times I'd go visit people, go to parties, and just socialize. And then go back to the barracks and do what I need to do and clean up and wash my own. I even wash my own clothes. And some barracks were nice. Others were not so nice. I remember one time over in Fort Littlewood, we would be in this one barracks that was almost run down. Like didn't have any heat. There was a cold winter one time up in Fort Littlewood, and I had to put on extra clothes and a blanket over me, and then we moved into our new place, like down the way, and those are nice. We'd have separate beds, and we'd have wall lockers for ourselves. We'd have separate bathrooms, because the ones in the old barracks, it was like trying to wait in line for it, and then either wait in line or wait in your room until somebody gets out, or wait until there's a clear time, to go. But I had fun though.
We understand, and you didn't see any combat.
Right.
So this is about your time in service, in other words.
Right.
Which is fine. What is today's date?
Today is 2/6, 2010, I mean.
And the interview is taking place at the Children's Coalition Incorporated at
Right.
907 North Dixie Highway.
Right.
Okay, and Greg, what branch of the service were you in?
Army.
Okay, United States Army. Could you do me a favor and expound a little bit more on what was it like interacting with the Korean people while you were stationed in Korea, correct? What base?
Well, it was in Seoul, but I can't remember the base,
Okay.
the name of the base. Interacting with the Korean people were nice. They treated us Americans real nice because of course we came over there to help them. And like I told the ladies that earlier, that the Korean women, they would be so nice to me. I mean, even going to the bars, they'd be nice. Like over here, us men would have to be on the outside of the street to protect the women. Over there, the women, they protect the men because there's so few men over there, and there's so many women there. And I couldn't understand that custom until a ways, like further on in being there. And I got used to the idea of me being on the outside, being protected more than, the inside, being protected more than being on the outside where the street is. Korean people, they sometimes keep to themselves. Where I was in Seoul, they, let's see. They have their marketplaces close by and their eating places close by so that they don't have to travel so far. And some of the places are so poor, the buildings were so run down, but just for the poor section. The rich section, they had their skyscrapers, and they had their expensive clubs, and they had their suits and ties, and they would go out and be with themselves. Other times I'd walk around the city, just walk around just to see what was there, but I'd have to have a Korean person with me so that I can, if somebody says something that I didn't understand. I took a little bit of Korean and spoke a little bit of Korean, but when I went to some places like bargaining for something, I had to take a Korean person with me to interpret what they wanted in exchange for what I had, and it was trying at first, I could not understand what was going on, and then after a while being there, I was only there for a year, and let's see. So a lot of times I'd be on post, I'd go to the movies or work. Working experience. If you want to know about working experience there.
Yeah.
Okay. Working experience. I'd have to go different places. Like I was like a courier, and I'd have to go get mail once in a while. At certain buildings, and then I'd come back and drop off the mail, and I worked in a cage. But it wasn't like you couldn't get out, okay? And that's where they kept the files. See, I was in the file room all the time, and yeah, it was nice. I had my own desk, and I also had somebody right next to me or across the way from me, and we'd chat once in a while, and then go back to work, and then my captain would ask for. See, we had a tape deck, and radio and stuff over there, and I'd had to play tapes over and over, go from my desk to play the tapes, then go back to work, and when that tape was finished, I'd have to go back and replace the tape. But other times I'd have to go, like I said, go get the mail, and salute the Korean officers, and we had things on post to do. I mean, it wasn't like we were confined in the base. We had areas to move around in, but we also had to shred a lot of our information, because if we got back to like North Korea, then we couldn't allow that.
The material was classified.
Yes, a lot of material was classified. I mean, for finance records, I used to work in finance, and finance records, you have to, if it's something old or outdated, you have to shred it. And sometimes I take it over to the shredder, or the place to be shredded, but going off post was experience, and it's the way of life over there is unique. I mean, I could not imagine it being over here, it being like there. I mean, it's totally different situation. I mean, they have you think the poor area over here is like it is here? Well, you got to be over there, and it's even more poor. But I mean, in the towns near the base. But it's like I said, it's unique. It's an experience. I wouldn't want to go back, because I liked living in America, But they have cabs over there and buses and stuff to move around, but you gotta be a rich person almost. And the poor people, they walk around or ride bikes. They like to ride bikes over there, which is nice, Over here, it's like over here, but it's an experience, one that I could not. If for the new veterans that have a chance to go over there and experience it. But don't get in the wrong crowd, Experience it for yourself, but be careful, because there are bad crowds over there. And
Good. Okay, is there any more questions? Okay, well, thank you very much,
thank you.
and we enjoyed having you.
Thank you.